The flickering candlelight danced across Andrea's face, casting shadows that seemed to deepen the amusement in her eyes. "Oh, David," she purred, swirling the wine in her glass. "Everyone has secrets. Some are just juicier than others." A chill prickled my skin. We were at a dinner party with our closest friends, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Andrea's words hung in the air, heavy with an implication I couldn't ignore. The secret she was alluding to wasn't about forgetting to buy milk or accidentally shrinking my favorite sweater. This was something else entirely. Something dark and unsettling. It had been a slow burn, this unease. Andrea had become distant, preoccupied. Late nights at the office, whispered phone calls, a newfound obsession with her appearance. I'd initially dismissed it as stress, fatigue, the natural ebb and flow of a long-term relationship. But the constant secrecy, the fleeting glimpses of a guarded expression on her face, had chipped away at my trust. That night, looking at her across the candlelit table, something snapped. The jovial atmosphere, the clinking glasses, the friendly banter, it all faded into a dull roar as a single, terrifying thought took root: Andrea was having an affair. The realization hit me with the force of a physical blow. My stomach churned, my breath caught in my throat. I excused myself, the need for fresh air a flimsy cover for the turmoil raging within me. On the balcony, the cool night air did little to soothe the burning anger and the crushing sense of betrayal. I pulled out my phone, my hands shaking. I had to know. I scrolled through Andrea's recent call history, a knot tightening in my gut with each unknown number. Finally, I found it, a recurring contact labeled Yoga Studio. A quick Google search revealed the truth: it wasn't a yoga studio. It was a gym, and the owner, Marcus Thorne, a personal trainer with a sculpted physique and a smile that could melt glaciers. Andrea didn't do yoga. Suddenly, all the pieces clicked into place. The late nights, the new workout clothes, the cryptic text messages. It was him. My mind raced, consumed by a whirlwind of emotions. Hurt, rage, confusion. I wanted to scream, to confront her, to tear the world apart. But then, a chilling calmness settled over me. I would expose her, not with a whispered accusation, not with a tearful confrontation, but with a public spectacle that would leave her reputation in tatters. I returned to the dining room, a mask of composure plastered on my face. The conversation flowed around me, oblivious to the storm brewing inside. Andrea flashed me a nervous smile. She knew something was wrong. Dessert was served, a decadent chocolate cake, a symbol of our 10 years together. Andrea raised her glass, her voice trembling slightly. "To 10 wonderful years, David. Here's to many more." I met her gaze, my voice steady and clear. "To secrets," I said, my eyes fixed on hers. A ripple of unease spread through the table. Andrea's smile faltered. "Speaking of secrets," I continued, my voice rising slightly, "I think everyone should know about the special yoga classes you've been taking, Andrea." Her face paled. "David, what are you talking about?" I ignored her, turning to our friends. "Andrea has discovered a newfound passion for fitness. So passionate, in fact, that she's been spending several evenings a week at Marcus Thorne's gym. Apparently, his personalized training sessions are quite invigorating." A stunned silence fell over the room. Andrea's eyes widened in horror. "David, stop it," she hissed, her voice barely a whisper. "Why, Andrea?" I asked, feigning innocence. "Are you embarrassed that your yoga instructor is actually your lover?" The gasp that escaped her lips was audible across the room. Our friends stared at us, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. The carefully constructed facade of our perfect marriage crumbled before their eyes. Andrea's world began to crash down around her. Her friends, once her confidants, now looked at her with a mixture of pity and disgust. Her carefully curated image, the image of the perfect wife and mother, shattered into a million pieces. But I wasn't done. I pulled out my phone, displaying a picture of Marcus, ripped straight from his gym's website. "This is Marcus," I announced, holding the phone aloft. "The man Andrea has been secretly meeting for months." The blood drained from Andrea's face. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She tried to speak, but no words came out. Later that night, after the guests had dispersed in hushed whispers, after the apologies and the awkward goodbyes, I confronted Marcus. I found him at his gym, locking up for the night. He looked surprised to see me, his cocky demeanor faltering as I approached. "David," he stammered, "what are you doing here?" "We need to talk," I said, my voice low and menacing. The conversation was brief, brutal, and intensely satisfying. I didn't resort to violence, but the raw fury in my voice, the venom in my words, was enough to strip him of his arrogance and reduce him to a stammering, apologetic mess. He knew his reputation was ruined, his business likely to suffer. He had underestimated me. He had underestimated the quiet, unassuming husband. The following weeks were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and painful goodbyes. The divorce was messy, acrimonious. Andrea tried to play the victim, painting me as the controlling, jealous husband. But the evidence was undeniable. Her lies had been exposed, her secrets laid bare for all to see. The house felt empty without her, echoing with the ghosts of our past. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards or the rustling of leaves outside. There were days I questioned everything, days I wrestled with grief and regret. But then I would remember the look on Andrea's face, the moment her carefully constructed world collapsed, and a sense of grim satisfaction would wash over me. I moved on, slowly, painstakingly. I rebuilt my life, brick by painful brick. I found solace in work, in friends, in the simple act of putting one foot in front of the other. The pain never truly disappeared, but it dulled with time, replaced by a quiet resilience, a hard-won understanding that sometimes, the only way to heal is to burn it all down and start again. And in the ashes of my old life, I found a new beginning. A beginning free from secrets, free from lies, free from the woman who had once held my heart captive.